How about some wide receivers that stepped up pretty big in that preseason game on Saturday? I think the ones to me that stand out, or the one to me, Isaiah Williams.
Yeah.
He had himself a hell of a game. I know Caden Davis had a long touchdown catch and run himself. A couple didn't look so great. Donovan Peoples-Jones. But we don't have to talk about him too much. But Sean Belizean.
You forgetting one.
Oh, yes. Tom Kennedy. The man who is going to be on the practice squad and do a great job for the practice squad. But Sean Belizean, how much stock do you put into a couple of the wide receivers really stepping up and playing well in this preseason game?
All you can do is go out, much like we were talking about with Jake Bates, all you can go out and do is your job. Okay, and when the real opportunity, even in an exhibition game, starts, if you show you're better than the other guy, I mean, the flip side to that is poor Calhoun. I mean, yeah. like honestly, when I was younger, I used to sit there, a guy like that, cut his ass, you know. As I've gotten older, your heart breaks for things like that because this is a guy who's played ball his whole life, and okay, well, that's your chance, kid. Best of luck. And so, I mean, to me, yes, you want to see guys go win jobs. Now, this is where we talk about, I am convinced, and I might be in the minority, I am convinced that Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes know the overwhelming majority of what this roster will look like, okay? But there might be that one spot where if Isaiah Williams goes out and gets it done,
yeah.
You know what? Okay, it was close before, but I gotta put him a peg above and everything. So those are, in my mind, those are the jobs that might be available. Are they massive jobs? No, because we know how the pecking order is going to look. There's no doubt about it. But a roster spot to anybody? Hell yeah. And I think in a game like this, maybe, just maybe, he gave himself up a bump.
Sure. And for the record, I don't think, when it comes to a guy like Caden Davis, I think he's still going to be on the practice squad no matter what. Yeah, he made a big play, but Isaiah Williams was the one who consistently looked great out there. And I get it. In a traditional NFL offense, Isaiah Williams does seem a little redundant with everything else the Lions have, with guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown and Khalif Raymond. But in this offense, when you got Ben Johnson as the coordinator and Jared Goff as the quarterback, I kind of feel like for a couple of plays, maybe this season, Isaiah Williams could be Jared Goff's best friend. He's the type of receiver that I think Jared Goff would work well with. He runs good routes, he plays out of the slot, and he just always gets open. And I get it, preseason, but when I was watching Isaiah Williams, I just saw his full skill set on display. He had a big punt return. Yeah. He had a big end-around first down. He caught a screen pass where he caught and ran it for a first down. He had a 37-yard catch and run on the sidelines in which he got wide open and got some nice yak yards. A couple first downs, catch and runs over the middle. It was just, he just looked like he belonged, and he looked like he was always open, kind of like 7-Eleven. But he's another one. He was underdrafted. I don't know how this man didn't get drafted somewhere. He was projected as, I think, a 5th-round pick. He fell to the Detroit Lions as an undrafted free agent signing. And I get it. Undrafted free agents aren't somebody who you really expect to contribute to this team. But just look at him stepping up versus what you see out of somebody like Donovan Peoples-Jones, who just, that man ain't separating worth a damn. He looks terrible out there. I hate to be a prick because I was rooting for that man. We were rooting for you, or I was rooting for you. But when you watch Isaiah Williams out there and how he fits in this offense and how I think he's going to work with Jared Goff, how could you not look at that and be like, this MFer's going to make the team?
I'd love to hear you say that. I don't give a damn what your pedigree is. I don't give a damn if you're taken in the 5th round, the 7th round, or an undrafted free agent. If you're going there and putting it on tape, there's that term again, the way that he is, and I thought your assessment was spot on. That was a guy, it was like, ooh, okay, how's he going to do it now? And you know, just for you, this is just for you, kind of like when J-Mo, the coming out party started in the playoff. It was like, oh, okay, so you're going to do this and you're going to do that. I'm not comparing him to J-Mo. Don't take it. But, Flannel, isn't that what you want? You want a guy that is versatile, that can hurt you in a myriad of ways, that can be part of that variety that we talk about, the have it your way menu. You know what? I'm going to have one of that. I'm going to have it. How do you want us to get you? This is a guy that can hurt you in a myriad of ways, seemingly.
Yes, and I see this in the chat, and I love to see it. And this is from Tony D, because we talk about there being an abundance of those slot type of receivers, those are smaller ones. Tony D, big body receiver equals tight end. Sam Laporta. And I get it, Sam Laporta is not going to be one to necessarily stretch the field, although he did it a couple of times last year. But in this offense, with Ben Johnson, with Jared Goff, do you really need that big body receiver? You'd like to have it. Like, honestly, I'm looking at the wide receiver core and kind of thinking, I would like for it to be Amon-Ra, Laporta, Josh Reynolds, J-Mo, Khalif, and Isaiah Williams. I'm looking at that being like, damn, that would be nice, although Josh Reynolds, we all know, is no longer here. But I'm looking at guys like Donovan Peoples-Jones. I'm looking at guys like Tyrese Fountain, and I'm just not seeing damn near anything in these preseason games. And I know Tyrese Fountain has been a practice warrior, but Isaiah Williams, he to me has stood out on this offense more than damn near anybody. Probably him or Sione Vaki are the preseason MVPs for this offense, and you love to see it. It might have been one of Brad Holmes's next master classes. KG, how are you feeling about the wide receivers stepping up like Isaiah Williams?
I mean, Isaiah Williams for the second straight preseason game led the team in receptions, 71 yards on 4 targets, 6 catches. So, 6 targets, 4 catches. But, it just seems like it's over with the DPJ project. And to your point, Isaiah Williams, somebody that was doing it at Illinois, he's showing you he can do it at the NFL level, man. And I do want to preference that most of DPJ's reps came with Nate Sudfeld at quarterback, but he has just not done anything to really, warrant him getting the number 3 or number 4 job at this point, man. And I don't want to say he's done in his career. Maybe it just didn't work out here, but you want guys that are just going to step up and take what they want, man. And Isaiah Williams is taking this job right now. Like you said, I don't care about the pedigree. I don't care about where you've been. Whoever is going to come in and work the hardest and win this job, that's who should get the job. It would have been nice to have a big body receiver, but we can supplement that in other ways, especially in a Ben Johnson offense. So not necessarily worried about that. But, yeah, it's just unfortunate for DPJ because I think this project is over now. And luckily they didn't spend a lot of money on him when they re-signed him.
In a perfect world, one of the 6'2", 6'3" guys would have stepped up. That's
what they wanted.
Fountain, Smith, Green, one of those guys would have said, me. It's all about me. But listen, I think when you're in the National Football League, your pedigree is going to take you a little bit. You brought this up earlier. Being a Holmes guy is going to give you a little bit more rope than not. If you're the GM's guy, if you were brought in by the GM, well, he wants to show everybody how smart he is. Most importantly, whether they want to admit it or not, he wants to show everybody that he's not a dumbass for signing this guy or that guy to a contract. So they're going to get a little bit more rope. But at the end of the day, you have to get the guys that are the best options for you, man. That's just the way it is in the NFL.
Yes, and one funky Lions fan, you don't need a big body to stretch the field when you got speed. And, of course, we all know the speed that Jamison Williams provides. And
that's your boy.
Hey, my guy. But, yeah, he's obviously someone who can stretch the field as well.
And he's looked damn good in the red zone in practice.
That's fair. And you saw it in the NFC Championship game with that big red zone.
That's your boy.
Catch. Hey, it's certainly not, but he could become my boy because I am getting a jersey of his if he has over 1,000 receiving yards. That's a deal I made, and I'm going to be a man of my word, and I hope it happens. And the thing, too, because I hear the whole, Donovan Peoples-Jones had Nate Sudfeld to throw the ball to him, and I understand that. I understand that completely. And I remember Tyrese Fountain, one of Hendon Hooker's bad throws, Tyrese Fountain was running wide open, and Hendon Hooker just missed him. However, and I'm going to leave this to Donovan Peoples-Jones specifically, when I see him getting targeted, when I see him on the field, I don't see a ton of separation. When I watch Isaiah Williams, I see him running these crisp, clean routes and just being open on damn near every single play. And the thing, too, about Isaiah Williams, which gives me a lot of hope, there is something quantifiable that happened to him as to why he wasn't drafted. He ran a 4.6 40. Which as a wide receiver, that's
a death sentence in it.
Especially a wide receiver with his stature and his perceived skill set, that is a death sentence. But you know who else didn't run the best 40? I'm not saying he's this guy. Amon-Ra St. Brown didn't run the best 40.
Yeah.
They seem to both have that football speed. We obviously know for a fact Amon-Ra St. Brown does because he's become one of the best wide receivers in football. But Isaiah Williams just the way that he's able to move, the way he's able to get in and out of his breaks when he's running routes. That makes up for maybe a 40 time in which in a straight line run you don't run as fast.
Anquan Bolden. There's another guy. I mean, you could time
Love
him with a
Anquan.
sundial. I mean, honestly, I think the Sun's beating Anquan.
Right.
But, dude, you know what?
But he gonna catch the ball every time.
You get that guy on the. He was a beast.
Yeah, man.
He was a beast. And I mean, look at how long he stuck around the league. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't stick around the league that long unless guys know you're a guy that can go out there and make plays. And you're right, Flynn. I guess based on what I just said with Anquan, that proves you right as well. If we're seeing this stuff, don't think for a second the guys aren't seeing this. Don't think for a second they're not watching the tape and going, all right, I know I can count on this guy. I know I can. Oh, take a look at that. So, yes, absolutely, that's a factor whether people want to admit it or not.
And I think, I don't think there's a way in hell Donovan Peoples-Jones makes this team.
Yeah.
And it sucks because I had faith in him being able to step up with Josh Reynolds gone because of what he's already done in the NFL. He showed us that he can go and have I think 700, 800-yard receiving season. But he hasn't. The three receivers ahead of him are Isaiah Williams, Caden Davis, and Darius Fountain. I'd put him ahead of Donovan Peoples-Jones just based off what he's doing in practice. Because it's not like Donovan Peoples-Jones has done anything to write home about.
Yeah.
And another thing about Isaiah Williams, I know Flannel will hate this, but he played quarterback in college. So we know how freaky Ben Johnson likes to get. That's another guy who you could run an end-around throwing play for Isaiah Williams and feel pretty comfortable about him making the right read or a correct throw in a situation like that.
And all you need to do is maybe pull that out of the hat a couple of times a year.
Yes,
With Isaiah
there you go.
Williams, and I'll even grant you that. With Isaiah Williams, you saw him in the preseason game get a really nice run on an end around. But if he has that threat of being able to throw the ball, which maybe you give if you're Ben Johnson a couple of times a year, Isaiah Williams to have the autonomy to, if you see someone open, throw it. If you don't, tuck and run. If he's Isaiah Williams, he's an undrafted rookie. That's all you really want from him are just a couple of big plays a year. And I think that he is somebody that can do that. And it's just, you know it when you see it. And I get it, I'm more of a numbers guy than like an eye test guy, but in the preseason, that's where preseason is sometimes hard for me because all you really can go off of is the eye test. But even for somebody like me, Isaiah Williams just basically glue off the screen. He didn't just flash. He was the best. He looked like the best player on the entire offense for the last couple of games. And it was evident to pretty much anybody who was watching.
You know, and to your point, you don't even have to run that play. I mean, just show it one time.
Yep.
Show it one time. And then you can line up in that formation and do a myriad of things. And the defense is left sitting there going, okay,
Yeah.
ball,
Yep.
thinking that, you might run that, and then you run completely something different. And I think that's something that Ben Johnson, that's kind of how he's made his name, is that unpredictability. And you think they're going to run one thing when they're set up in this set, and they do something different. So that's just another piece that you can throw out there at an opportune time.
Yes, and as far as Donovan Peoples-Jones goes, R.I.P. I was rooting for that man. If we were doing R.I.P. Tuesdays, I would put him in the coffin. There's a little impromptu. There is no excuse for him looking this bad. Honestly, there was no excuse for him being so much of a non-factor even last year. And I get it, new offense and all of that, but he did nothing.
Yeah.
He had 5 catches the entire time that he was there, and he didn't do jack dick in Cleveland as well at the beginning of the season. And he was somebody I was calling for a breakout. Maybe he's just done. It's just when you're as talented as he is, and it's going to happen, you're going to lose your job to Tom Kennedy and Caden Davis and an undrafted free agent rookie. And Darius Fountain, a guy who had 2 catches his entire career and has been a journeyman. When you're more talented than all of them, it's funny how it goes, but DPJ, R.I.P.
Tough business, man.
Tough business, even though he is a fine Michigan man.